Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Sharief, Ishaq along in 30 minutes talking Saints. A lot of LSU basketball and football in hour number 1. Let's transition over to baseball, where LSU and Bethune-Cookman will meet tonight at Alex Box Stadium. I don't do a great job of knowing what midweek game is coming next. Like, if you asked me during the 5th inning of a Saturday SEC game who LSU's got on Tuesday, I usually don't know. It's usually somebody, Southeastern, Nichols, McNeese, maybe ULM's coming down. I don't know. It's somebody. I usually don't know. And so I actually got asked over the weekend. Chris Blair texted me and said, hey, can you come in and do some color on Tuesday? I said, sure. I was like, well, I guess I better find out who we're playing. So I checked it out. It's Bethune-Cookman. And when I saw that, I went, okay, that's a team they should handle really easily. Let's go look at Bethune-Cookman. And look, Bethune-Cookman has had a great program over the years, relatively speaking. You're talking about a team that made the NCAA tournament every season but one from 1999 through 2011. Keep in mind, LSU missed 3 times in that span. And Bethune-Cookman went every year. LSU did not make the NCAA tournament in 2006. That was Smoke's last year. Did not make it in 2007. That was Maneri's first year. And did not make it in 2011. 3 times in that span, LSU didn't make the tournament. Bethune-Cookman made it every year but one. And they went through some hard times, but last year they were really good. 37-23. They were 24-5 in the SWAC, and they won the conference tournament, got into the field. Jonathan Hernandez's team is really good. Again, this year, relatively speaking, they're 22-10 overall. They're 10-2 in the SWAC. They also have a win over South Florida, who is 24-8 on the season. This is a team that went down to Miami and were tied with Miami after 6 innings. They lost a 5-2 game. Most of the rest of their schedule is not all that impressive, and Florida State got after them and 10-runned them. But it's not a complete pushover team. We've seen pushover teams come in. This is not one. And oh, by the way, I can't sit here and tell you that LSU has any pushover teams because I went and did this nasty research this morning. This is not what I wanted to do at 5 a.m., but it's what I did. I looked up LSU's midweek starts this year in terms of not the starting pitcher, the beginning of the game. The first midweek game was on a Monday against Kent State. And LSU got off to a pretty good start. They were up 1-0 after 1. They were up 4-0 after 2. Kent State hit a 3-run homer, and it was 4-3 in the third. But then LSU scored 3 more runs. They were up 7-3 after the third inning. LSU got off to a fine start against Kent State. They won the game. The rest of the games after the first Monday, the rest of them have gotten off to bad starts. I got them all right here. There's not a single outlier. All of them. Played Nichols. Down 1-0 after half an inning. Played McNeese. Down 7-2 after 4. Played Northeastern. Down 10-0 after 3 innings of play. You lost both the McNeese and Northeastern games. Went to Louisiana Lafayette. Down 3-0 after an inning. Played Creighton at the box. Down 4-1 after 3 innings. Down 4-1. Played Grambling. Surely you can just push Grambling around, right? Well, you played 3.5 innings, and it was 1-1. Louisiana Tech came in, down 2-0 after half an inning. Tech's on the board first. Played Southern, and you were down 6-1 after 2.5 innings. That's terrible. It's just pathetic. Like, there's a reason you play 9 innings, and I'm not going to get mad at them for 10-running Southern. I'm not going to get mad at them for blasting Tech after going down 2-0. I'm not going to get mad at them. They beat Grambling. They beat Creighton. They beat Nichols. Like, it's not like they don't come back and win, but you would think against competition that is worse than you. All of these teams are worse than LSU. Grambling's worse than LSU. Tech's worse than LSU. ULL's worse than LSU. Northeastern's worse than LSU. McNeese is worse. They're all worse than LSU. And there's never a situation where, you're up 6-0 in the second. You didn't do it once. You haven't done it once. And that comes from various different reasons. But I think one of the reasons is your starting pitching has just been bad, relatively speaking. Like, keep this in mind. Tonight, this is obvious. I don't mean to say this is like an actual point. You all are personally aware of this, but Kaysen Evans and William Schmidt won't start tonight, right? Okay. Well, that's two guys you can count on to give you a reasonable outing every time out. Oh, by the way, Zach Cowan threw 67 pitches on Sunday. He's not pitching today. Gavin Guidry threw 55 pitches on Sunday. He's not pitching today. And Grant Fontenot threw 39 pitches on Sunday. Like, he might not throw much today. So you look at, like, what your options are, and, like, you could go to Jaden Newt or Cooper Williams to start the game today. I think both guys are talented pitchers. Both guys have gotten huge outs for LSU. Cooper Williams pitched in Omaha. Jaden Newt was awesome against Ole Miss in the SC tournament. But both guys, to this point in the season, have ERAs of over 7.8. So, do you really know what you're going to get from those guys? Like, if I'm looking for guys to throw it over the plate, like Connor Bench hasn't walked anybody yet. He walked everybody last year and walked anybody this year. Maybe he can throw the first inning. I don't know. He's pitched like 4 times. Reagan Ricken has been asked to start a lot of midweek games. He has walked 9 hitters and hit 4 hitters. That's 13 free bases in 11 and a third innings pitched this year. 13 free bases in 11 and a third. Well, he's a freshman. What about somebody that's older? Well, Maverick Rizzi's older. Can you go with him? Well, he's walked 12 and hit 5 in 17 innings this year. That's 17 free bases in 17 innings. Like, there's just not a guy you can point to of this group and go, okay, that guy can go out there. He can, against Bethune-Cookman, go 2 innings and not give up a run. Because this just it. All these guys are hitting people and walking people like crazy, and Bethune-Cookman is ready to run. They're 15th in the NCAA in stolen bases. They've got 83 of them. That's just 7 off Kentucky's pace. We saw how much they run. So if you walk somebody or you hit somebody, they're probably going to try to steal. And that brings me to my final case of this evening. Like, who's catching? Because Omar Cerna got his bell rung on Sunday, got decked on a ball that Jake Brown threw 15 feet up the line, and the runner clocked Cerny to come out of the game. So do you want to send Aaron Beatty back there? He hasn't been great catching and receiving the ball. Are you okay putting Eddie Yaman back there? He caught on Sunday. I am. I think he's done okay. It's been limited, but you've got to decide who you want to put back there at catcher, because you're going to have a ton of Bethune-Cookman base runners ready to run. They're not coming in here with anything to lose. They may have to play it cautious when they get to the conference tournament because you've got to win those games. They come down here to Baton Rouge. I got a base runner on with nobody out. We're going. Maverick Rizzi, 6'9", unfolding like that. And we're going. You're going to go with Reagan Ricken, a freshman who hadn't held runners on at this level? We're running. You don't have your strike throwers? We're going. So, like, I fully expect LSU's offense to counter all this question marks I'm lobbing about. Who starts the game for LSU on the mound? How do you pitch it to get it to Sheeran, who Sheeran is available tonight? He threw 41 pitches on Friday. He's had Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, 3 days off. He's ready to go tonight for the last 5-6 outs if you need to close the game. But I don't know what happens before that, because you've just got a bunch of guys who just haven't been consistent at all. But I expect LSU's offense to come take care of that. They did it last week against Southern. They did it against Louisiana Tech. They did it against Grambling. Like, the bats have shown up. The bats have been pretty good for 3 weeks, especially against bad pitching, which you will see tonight. But I do have some questions. Like, can you get off to a decent start? Can you throw strikes? Can you stop them from running? Who's going to play catcher? These are, generally speaking, the midweek games that we pay the least attention to because at this point you're jockeying for SEC position. But this team hasn't asserted itself enough and certainly doesn't have good enough RPI metrics at this point for me to just wave the game off. You got to go play. You got to go play well because Bethune-Cookman's not going to be scared. They played Florida State. They played Miami. They were in a regional last year. They beat South Florida. They're crushing everybody in their league. They know Southern came in here and got a lead. They know Grambling came in here and got a lead. They're not going to be scared. So you need to come out and play tonight. That's my advice to LSU. So many times last year, and I realize I'm talking about a national championship team, so many times last year, LSU came out and hit 2 homers in the first, put up a 5 spot in the first, and just took the game by the reins. It would be nice tonight. It would be nice not to have to white knuckle. It would be nice to get through 9 innings and let Marcos Paz go out there and pitch. And let Danny Lockenmeyer go out there and pitch. And let Ethan Plog go out there and pitch. And let Reagan Ricken throw a low-stress inning at some point. Get a 9-run lead. Florida State did it to these guys. Play a low-stress game. And then get ready to get on the road and go to Ole Miss. That's what I would love to see from LSU at this point. We'll see if they can do it. First pitch tonight from the box at 6:30. You can catch pregame myself and Chris Blair at 6 o'clock. That's over on Eagle 98.1 here in Baton Rouge, the flagship home of LSU Athletics. Looking forward to getting out to the box on what should be a really nice night for baseball here in the capital city. Sharief, Ishaq in 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotro's Outdoor Power. Gotro's Outdoor Power. 2 locations. Of course, they're in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. You can't miss that one. It's got that huge mountain of orange inventory, all those Hustler products. They've also got a location in Gonzales as well. They're the largest Hustler inventory in the state by far. So just because it's owned by the Gotro family and is a family business that has been here for 22 years doesn't mean that it's just some mom and pop shop. Nope, they can help you out with a huge inventory of Hustler products, and they get you behind the wheel of a new zero-turn mower for $100 a month. It's an incredible, incredible opportunity there. They can finance on site. 0% financing is available, and they've got their own extended warranty. So Gotro's is the warrantor on that. You've got your warranty with the manufacturer, but you've also got an extended one with Gotro's as well. You can add 2 years or 200 hours to the manufacturer's warranty. Incredible customer service and great deals like that are what separates Gotro's Outdoor Power from the national brands, from the big box stores. Go by and see them. 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge or in Gonzales, or online. That's at gotrosonline.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Friends at One Bath and Closets, David Duvall and his team, onebathandclosets.com. Go to the website, onebathandclosets.com. You'll see the incredible pictures of their great work on the closet spaces. You'll see the reviews from their satisfied customers, and you can get that free consultation with David. He'll sit down and walk you through their process at One Bath and Closets. Local company. David's been at it for more than 3 decades. And he's happy to help you renovate or remodel your bathroom or your closet. Maybe it's a full-scale renovation. You want to tear everything out and build it all new. He can do that. They're licensed contractors, got a master plumber on staff as well. They can make it happen. But maybe it's something simple like using your closet space a little bit more efficiently, or just doing a tub-to-shower conversion in the bathroom. Either way, One Bath and Closets is going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. So go to the website, onebathandclosets.com. Check it out and get that free consultation. They're happy to do it there at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com. All right, Lane Kiffin met with the media today. We do have some sound from that. It was at about 11:45 this morning into the afternoon after the Tigers went through a morning workout at Tiger Stadium. And there were a lot of the same old questions about players, and he's been complimentary of just about everybody on the field. But I thought the more interesting detour today was talking about the scheduling. And there are a lot of things that are different at LSU than they are at Ole Miss for Lane Kiffin. Sometimes you take a different job and think about things a little bit differently. Everybody's got different rivals, and the calendar's different for this program as opposed to that program. Everybody's got different goals. The athletic director or football coach at Kentucky may think one way, while the football coach at LSU or Georgia may think another way. And so you never know what someone's going to think taking over another job with a different set of circumstances. And Lane Kiffin was asked today and gave a couple of different bites about the schedule he plays at LSU, where you will play a 9-game conference schedule and a Power 5 team from outside the conference. So that means 10 games at the Power 5 level. And so Lane Kiffin was asked about whether or not he supported that 9-game schedule.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to complain about it. I was very outspoken in meetings with the commissioner, with president's athletic directors. In my opinion, that was not a good idea until the system of how they selected teams was fixed. Until it was fixed that there were automatic bids, until it was truly fixed that a strength of schedule matters how it should, it made zero sense to me to go add another hard game. But we did. I understand there's always things that go into decisions besides the way that I think. I'm sure there were financial reasons for it, but I don't think that anybody now that they've kind of seen how selections have gone, thinks that there's value in that from that standpoint. And you're going to continue to have this, in my opinion, this threshold until they go to more teams or a different system that 10-2's in, 9-3's out. So you just got some more losses in your conference and beat yourself up more, which is different than any other conference plays from a toughness standpoint.
It just all depends on your outlook, your perspective on college football. Neither of these things is right or wrong. They are opposed to one another. And I fall in Lane Kiffin's camp, and a lot of you fall in a different camp. If your idea of scheduling is, I like to watch LSU play football, I like to get pumped up and excited for big games when they play football, I want more big games, I want more night games, I want the toughest schedule you can get, because to be the man, you got to beat the man, and I don't want to hear you complaining. Put them on the schedule. We'll go beat them. At Ohio State, come on. Texas coming to us, great. We need to go play Michigan or go play Wisconsin or Penn State. USC in Vegas, let's go do that. Let's go play. That may be how you see it. I see it like Lane Kiffin. I like to win the championship. I find the best way to win the championship is to get in the tournament that chooses the champion. In order to do that, as Lane's saying, like, the best way to do it is to go 10-2 or 11-1. And the best way to go 10-2 or 11-1 is to play a little bit softer schedule than is possible. I'm not suggesting LSU needs to go to the Mountain West. What I'm saying is you don't have to play 10 of these when we used to play 8 if we're talking about a criteria where every 10-2 is the same and every 9-3 is the same, and 10-2 is better than 9-3, so they're in. I see it the same way Lane Kiffin does. So if you're telling me that if it gives me a better chance to play for a championship, to play North Texas than it does to play Clemson or play ULL instead of the extra conference game against Tennessee, I'm going to take that. It's not as fun as Saturday. It's less stressful. It's not as fun, but I'm with Lane Kiffin on that. I believe that is the way that you should look at it. Doesn't mean that I'm suggesting I'm right and you're wrong, but I'm not coming to your side of the aisle. Yes, the environment for LSU Clemson will be better than the environment if LSU opened with Samford. I'm with you on that. But 1-0 is 1-0, according to the committee. They don't really care about strength of schedule. Until they take a 9-3 team and put them in over 10-2, put them in over 11-1, I won't see it another way, and I'm with Lane Kiffin on that. But the conference is looking for money. Everyone's looking for money. What's the best way to get money? Put better games on TV, create more money. If you tell me that we're going to go, I have no problem with scheduling difficult. I want LSU baseball to schedule difficult. I'd like to play a non-conference series with TCU. I'd like to play midweek games against Southern Miss. I'd like LSU to travel to 2 of those big tournaments like Vanderbilt did this year. I'm all about it because a loss doesn't hurt that bad, especially if it's to a good team. I want LSU basketball playing non-conference games against anybody they can play. They're never in that position, but you don't get hurt that bad for losing those games in November. I don't always want the easiest schedule you can have. But in this sport where you penalize losses so drastically, I don't need to risk them anymore. Yep, it's awesome when you clobber Virginia Tech in 2007. Yep, awesome. When you take care of your business and you beat Oregon in 2011. Super awesome. It's great when you beat Clemson to start the season. But by the same token, if you lose, big trouble. Go back and look at Virginia Tech's schedule in 2007. They'd had a chance to play for something special if they don't come to Tiger Stadium. And they just sit at home and play VMI. Like, it's just the way I'll always see it until they decide that they're not going to punish losses as harshly as they do. Kiffin wasn't done talking about the 9-game schedule. He said this.
So you're going to have whatever you have a lot of years, and you have, we have 8 of the top 10 hardest schedules in the country. So you made it harder. You don't get more points when you're already the first hardest schedule to stay the first. So I was not a fan of it at all. And there's more into it besides just, when you play some easier games, it's not just a physical standpoint. It's a mental standpoint of nowadays, because of knowing the portal's coming, you get to play other players, you get to keep your play counts down. There's a lot into it besides just the game itself, why you schedule that way. Last season, I think we looked as good as anybody at the end of the season, the place we were at going in the playoffs from a health standpoint, mentally and physically. That was a pretty well put together schedule. 8 home games, so when you do have your game in non-conference, that you don't play as well, you can get by a little bit versus, going down at a game in the swamp or something is your other game.
And that's not going to make people happy, but last year Ole Miss's schedule, they played Georgia State, they played Tulane, they played Washington State, they played the Citadel. That was non-conference. Made the playoff. They could have gone to the Horseshoe and lost. Could have. May not made the playoffs. I mean, look, that's what happened in Texas. Now they dropped one late, but Texas, playoff team. If they don't go to the shoe, is that worth it? If it's worth it to you, great. If you feel that way, it doesn't matter how we feel because we're not in charge of the schedule. It doesn't really matter. But I would rather play the Citadel and win and go to the playoff than go challenge myself at Ohio State. Oops, we lost. Now we're out. I'll play Ohio State in December in Texas, in the Cotton Bowl. That's when we'll play Ohio State. That's just, I'm always going to feel that way. And again, I am not here yelling from the treetops, I'm right, you're wrong, sit in the corner and listen to me. I'm just telling you, you're never going to convince me that taking on risk in this sport specifically is the best way to go about it. It may be more fun for you to get your tailgate out or to get the watch party going and get jazzed up for the LSU Clemson game. And trust me, it's going to be bonkers on Labor Day weekend in Baton Rouge. Absolutely bonkers. But is that worth losing the game potentially and costing yourself a playoff spot? Because Texas did it. So it's just not to me. But trust me, I'll be sitting in this very chair, probably this exact same chair, certainly in this same space, the Friday before Labor Day, and I'll be off the walls getting ready for LSU and Clemson. And I'm telling you, I want LSU baseball to schedule hard. I'd love LSU basketball to schedule hard. It doesn't matter if, the Saints lose a game for the other team that we cover here. But in this sport, losses are just backbreakers. And so to add them, I think, is brutal. But if you're asking me what I expect to see during the Lane Kiffin era, and he's telling you that, hey, last year at the end of the year, we looked really fresh. We were in the playoff. We had some young guys that got experience because we put this to schedule. And their big non-conference game was take your pick, Washington State or Tulane. That may be how things are moving forward with Lane Kiffin at LSU. Just a hunch. We'll see. We'll talk some Saints with Sharief Ishaq next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Reminder, they service all makes in their service department there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville. So if you're about to go on a road trip, need some tune-up work done on that vehicle, bring it into Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville. Also, if you're looking to get a new vehicle for that summer road trip, those sometimes come pretty quickly after Memorial Day when the kids are off school and you're thinking about getting into a new ride for that. Maybe your lease is coming up as well. Go by and see them. They've got new vehicles. They've got certified pre-owned vehicles as well. If you're looking for an SUV for the family road trip, maybe a Tahoe or a Suburban, maybe a Yukon or a Denali, they've got them at FabryChevrolet.com and also on the lot there in St. Francisville on Highway 61. Fabry family's been at this for 35 years, y'all. You know the reputation. You know the quality customer service that you're going to get. So go by and see them in St. Francisville or find them online at FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging right along here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Time now to head out to the Gems Firearms Hotline with our guy Sharief, Ishaq, WDSU in New Orleans. Sharief, how are you?
Just so splendid, Hunt.
I can't tell you how thrilled I am to hear that. So here's the deal. Are you at the point with the draft that you're sick of the coverage and ready to get on with it, or are you just like starting to get hyped with it? That's kind of the measure of a true football guy.
I like it, actually. Sometimes I do get a little frustrated and aggravated with it, but with where the position the Saints are in right now at number 8 and just the endless possibilities of the depth at certain positions of need for them in this draft just makes it a little bit better to me, in my opinion, for the first time in a long time. I don't know, maybe because I feel the hype train is picking up steam for the Saints, so I actually don't mind it that much this year. It's one of my favorite years to talk about the draft.
I saw an ESPN.com article yesterday that said that they didn't think the Saints were expected to be very good this year. Would you take umbrage with that?
I need to know what they think is not very good this year. I mean, I understand last year the win total was between 4 and 5.5, and they were right. I think, what is not good? I mean, it's just 7 wins not good to them, 8 wins not good to them, because I think I look at it in gradual steps, which we have talked about a few times since the offseason kicked off. It's, you go from 6 wins to 8, maybe 9 wins. If they get to that 8 or 9 win mark, is that considered not good? To me, I think that's considered good, considering everyone thinks that, the franchise is one of the worst in the NFL. No one wants to play here. No one wants to coach here. Hence the sarcasm. I think it's going to be just fine. You get me to 8 wins, I feel good about it, considering it's a rebuild and they're 1 year away still. And they get to 9 or 10 and they win an NFC South. That's, once again, not good. That's actually good. So it's a crapshoot, man. Honestly, it really is. It depends on how they handle this draft and if they add any late better to this lineup. So I think it's going to be better than what they think.
Reports are that Carnell Tate and the Saints had conversations today. How do you feel about his potential fit in New Orleans? It's another Ohio State young man.
Would love it. I would love it. That's the guy I'm pushing for. That's the guy I would desperately want. If he is, of course, sitting there at number 8, you need to give Tyler another weapon, and you need to give him, I think, a true number 1. I think he would be a definite true number 1 compared to Chris Olave. And it's not, it's no disrespect and no knock on Olave. I just feel like I look at Carnell's size, Carnell, with his ability to do the contested catches, the routes he can run. I mean, that Chris can run all the routes too, but I just look at Carnell Tate and think, man, he could be a number 1. I do think that Chris could be a number 1, but it would ease the pressure off of him. But I just think, in my opinion, that would give them a true 1, 2, and 3 with Bailey. So I would love Carnell Tate. I just love the size and the way he can go up and get, make some contested catches in traffic. That's what they desperately need, that combo receiver.
With compensation within reason here, you're certainly not, 3 number 1s or something wild, but reasonably, because we talked about this yesterday. There was an article written about the Saints potentially trading back, but more so trading up. Is there a player that may have to be in the top 5 for the Saints to get that player that would be worth trading a second-round pick this year, or maybe a second and a third next year?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to stop you there. I'm not going to do it. I just don't see that player. I really don't. I mean, I'm sure the teams that are sitting at 2 and 3 are like, what are we going to do? And I'm sure a Cowboys love. I mean, I've seen the mock drafts where the Cowboys trade with the Cardinals so they can come up and get David Bailey or somebody like that. I just don't do it. I mean, the Saints, they did such good work last year in the draft without making a single move, and look how it paid off. I think they need to take that approach again. And I get that you're on a quarterback second year who's, a second-round pick, so he doesn't have that 5th year, but still, I take that same approach again this year. and make all my picks, unless like you really want to do something for the first time in a long time and trade back off at 8 and get to like 12 or 13 and add more picks. But to me, I'm sitting pretty at number 8. I'm sitting pretty at number 42. 42 might be the one where I might make the move, maybe earlier into the second round. But like that's probably the only time I'm thinking about it.
To be clear, I said the same thing. I was playing devil's advocate there because I read about it and I wanted to think, well, is there somebody up there that you feel like you because you hope that this is as high as you pick for a little bit. You hope that you're not picking as high as 8 in a little bit. So this is your best chance to get that really impact player at the top. And if you don't have to move very far, do you think about doing it? I said no, and you obviously agree with that, saying no as well. Do you have a sense at what you think the Saints are thinking? That's always a difficult question to ask this time of year because everybody's playing it close to the vest. But what's your gut tell you?
My gut tells me they desperately want to get Tyler a weapon, and whether if it's at 8 or 42, but I would think that option is really like would gain steam. It's gaining a lot more steam at number 8, and I think the name that we've talked about a few minutes ago, Carnell Tate, would be the guy for them. I mean, remember they're at the Ohio State Pro Day, so if Kellen Moore is at a Pro Day, just think that they want one of those players, whether if it's and if it isn't Tate, if he's off the board, maybe it's Downs, and if that's not Downs, it's maybe Sonny Styles. But yeah. I would think that number one guy that they were looking at, if he's at a Pro Day, he was at Miami's as well, which makes me think they're probably looking at Reuben Baines or Messador. So you got to think that, like, if Kellen's at a Pro Day, they are looking at drafting one of those players with that 8th overall pick. And my gut tells me that they desperately want to get Tyler another weapon at that slot.
All right, now here's the change of pace, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. You're down there. Mickey Loomis's approval rating in early October was almost 0. What is it today, and how much confidence does the fan base have in this front office based on the last 6 games of the season, the draft class from last year, and most importantly, the quarterback?
I think it went up. I think it went up to about 60, 65%. I'd give him a little bit more of a boost because of what Tyler Strucker is able to do. When you have a quarterback, it changes the perception of everyone in the building.
Yeah.
I mean, from top down, it changes everything. You can go from a 0 to a hero in the span of one player over 6 games. I understand they didn't get to the playoffs and they only won 6 games, but remember what these conversations were like on Tuesdays whenever they were 1-8? It was terrible.
Yeah.
These conversations were awful. I was like, let's just get through this. I don't want to do this. Now it's like, man, I'll talk to you about it for an hour and a half if you want to. And I just think, Mickey and Jeff, they deserve their credit. We bashed them, and at times it was deserving. And now they deserve their praise. So, and I get, like, show me you can do it again. And it's true. They got to show everyone they can do it again. And that's why they have a chance to, show everyone in 2 weeks that they can hit another draft and hope that it works out. I think they're in a good spot to prove to everyone that, like, his approval rating, should be up a little bit more. But I still think, it's an 8-win team, maybe 9, and then the next year, 2027, when they have even more money, they can get even more players in free agency and have another good draft. That's 3 good drafts. And then you're set for like 5 to 6 years, 8 years. So I think that Mickey deserves the praise, and it's definitely above 50% to me.
A lot of ifs there, but hope is springing eternal down there in New Orleans. That's for sure. I'm not sure you can say the same for across the street in the Smoothie King Center. Things coming to an end with the Pelican season. What's next?
Yeah, thankfully it's coming to an end. Wholesale changes need to happen, Hunt. New coach, you're gonna have to move some of the. It's different in the NBA than it is in the NFL because you have to match salaries, and then they've got to make some moves. I'm looking at Zion. I'm looking at Herb. I would say everyone's on the table. Trey should be on the table. Who knows if he even asked for like a trade. I mean, I know it's hard to find good wings, but like at this point, like which direction are you going? Are you going to build around the rookies, the 2 rookies, and Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen? Or are you going to say, everything's fine, we're going to run it back and build around Zion, which hasn't worked out? In my opinion, it's time to move on. It's time to just strip it, trade everyone off, get picks, get players, get younger, and just fix this whole thing. My issue is like which person is going to want to take this job, which head coach is going to want this job. It's not an attractive job, man. It really isn't an attractive job. And people could say the same thing about the Saints when Kellen Moore took it, but I just think it's completely different when it comes to the Saints and the Pelicans. And you have to find a way to establish a winning culture because, insanity, deja vu, Groundhog Day, it just isn't working. So it's time to, burn it down and build it back up to me.
I don't disagree with any of that. It's a bummer to be so irrelevant on a national stage there behind the NBA, and unfortunately that's just all too common for the Pelicans. All right, Sharief, we appreciate the time. We'll be closer to the draft next time when we talk.
All good. Can't wait to talk next Tuesday. See you, Huck.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans. All right, we'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetimeroofingla.com is that website. As of January 1st, so you're talking about 3.5 months ago, they are so proud to be able to offer a lifetime warranty. That warranty covers the workmanship as well as the materials, and those materials are backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. So when you're looking for a roof, you want a roofer you can trust. You can trust Lifetime Roofing. They're right here, locally owned and operated in Baton Rouge and throughout South Louisiana. You're looking for a roofer that does wonderful work. Well, Lifetime Roofing obviously does that, and someone that will stand by their work with that warranty. They will do that at Lifetime Roofing as well. Plus, if you need financing on that roof, whether you're paying for the entire roof or just a deductible, and you need it financed, they can do that 0% up to 18 months as well. It's Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Our Tuesday shows are brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Been in business 20 years right here based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, LSU grads. If you're the business, really the sweet spot there for Immense is 50 to 100 employees, and you need some help with your IT. Immense is here to help you out 24/7. They can be there. They're monitoring your network. They're helping you with, obviously, breaks and fixes. But more than that, they're talking about a company that can partner with you and be a consultant for you in growing your business using technologies. Every single partner that Immense takes on, they help as a consultant to build your business via technology. It's a customized solution. This is not just, well, she clicked on that email and her computer's frozen and he can't get this app to open up on his. That's part of IT, but that's not all that Immense has to offer. It's a customized solution and a proactive consultant for your information technology. So if you're a company of 50 to 100 employees and you've got an overworked IT staff or are not thrilled with the IT services that you're currently receiving, reach out to Immense. Check them out at immense.net. That's immense.net. They bring you our Tuesday shows. Bit of housekeeping here on this Tuesday. I've told you a couple times, but for those that are popping in and out, if you are planning to join us tonight at Court to Table for Sports Trivia, I highly endorse going to Court to Table because it's awesome. They got great food and drinks, and the baseball game will be on. I won't be there for sports trivia. I'll be at the box. I'll be on the call with Chris Blair tonight. So it'll be us for LSU and Bethune-Cookman at 6:30, 6 o'clock pregame. I will not be at Court to Table. So we'll be back in action for sports trivia tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Shouldn't say that. Next week, next Tuesday, we'll be there at Court to Table. But tonight, I'll be at the box. Again, first pitch at 6:30 pregame on Eagle 98.1 at 6 o'clock. Myself and Chris Blair will be on the call. All right, one more order of business. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so projected number one pick Fernando Mendoza has informed the NFL that he's not planning to attend the NFL draft in Pittsburgh this month. Yes, this month. So Mendoza wants to share, he wants to share the draft experience with his family in Miami. So draft party over the green room. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it for him. That's great.
Okay.
I know, obviously, his mother has some health complications.
Yes, she does.
And so if that's easier for her, completely understand. I think if all things are equal, I'm probably going to Pittsburgh if I'm going to be the first pick in the draft. I can certainly see the home draft party. Have no problem with that whatsoever. But it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and I feel like maybe being at the show might be a cool thing to be at. So that's my personal opinion, but certainly understand his circumstances and his desires to want to do that at home. And that will have no bearing on his NFL career whatsoever. So if that's what he wants to do in South Beach, not a bad spot
Miami,
to spend some time.
Could be a lot worse to be at somewhere for a draft party, but Miami's going to hit. Yeah, I think we both can agree. If I'm guaranteed to be a top 10 pick, I'm thinking I'm going to be in the green room. I don't want to be a Aaron Rodgers just sitting
Brady
there.
Quinn
yeah,
just
I
hanging
can't
out
do
for a
that.
while.
No. I got to know, like, all right, I didn't see my name on so many mock drafts. Okay, I'm going to be in this spot. So we know that Giannis is going to have this nasty divorce with the Milwaukee Bucks, but it's got a little bit deeper. So Sean Sharani reported that the Bucks' decision to sit him this year has cost him a crazy Nike endorsement contract, the incentives in his contract. He was incentivized to play 41 games this year. They shut him down at 36. So that has been like this huge story going on that the NBA is investigating because Giannis tweeted that he's able to play and they're not letting him play. So is this the end of Giannis in Milwaukee? Take it or leave it.
I'm going to take that.
I'll take it.
Look, I am so pro trying to win, so I don't care about load management. And I think you should do whatever it takes to win a championship. And the Bucks feel it's the best way for them to be successful as a franchise is for him to stay healthy and then to get the maximum amount of assets for it. I get that. But costing somebody a massive amount of money, by sitting him out for 5 games, like that's a bad look for your organization. And if you're going to have monster players that want to be there, newsflash, not a lot signing up to play in Milwaukee. This is not going to help. So you got to think about everything. And I guess the time's passed now. They don't have 5 games left, but I would have let that happen. I would have let him get action in 41 games.
Especially because he's the face of the franchise.
Nobody said he had to play every minute of 41 games. He just had to get on the floor.
Got to step on the court. And again, this is a guy that's been there, one jersey guy. He is Milwaukee. He is the franchise, and
that's no good.
And it just sucks that a guy that, again, one jersey guy is not going to be a one jersey guy no more, and that's just rare today in the NFL. The NBA. Speaking of the NFL, Diego Pavia is reportedly going to have a visit with the Panthers amid the Bryce Young contract negotiation. Well, it's like are they going to pay him his 5th-year option?
Yeah.
So
they should not, by the way.
So Diego Pavia and Bryce Young QB room. Are the Saints in trouble? Take it or leave it?
I will leave it. I will leave that. That's not trouble at all. That's 2 guys. If you stack them together, they would be one full NFL quarterback.
I don't think they'd be a taller Shuck if you did stack them on top of each other.
Stacked them on top, it'd be one NFL quarterback. Yeah, that's not gonna. Diego Pavia is a heck of a college football player. He's not coming anywhere near my NFL franchise. Period.
Can't do it.
He's just. I'm out. The antics are too much. The talent level's not enough. Hell of a college football player. Nowhere near my NFL team.
Well, I hate to say it, Hunt. I would like to see him on the Panthers because that can guarantee me 2 wins a year.
If he's the
I will
starter,
definitely
it would.
take that. Hey, if Bryce Young's the competition, and we've seen he's flip-flopping from on the bench, Pavia, if you get Pavia,
Chase Young might break him in half, like just pick him up and break, like a kid with a Kit Kat.
Kit Kat or like a little Twix or something. No, I need Pavia in Carolina. I need Pavia in that Carolina blue. I just need any ways that the Saints can just squeeze out 2 more wins. I'll take that. But that's it for Take It or Leave It.
That's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We covered a lot of ground today, kind of some highlights if you want to go back and check it out on demand. I gave my practice report today, and it kind of focused on Blake Baker's new role at practice. He's doing things a little bit differently, and he's kind of CEOing the defense, and I think there are some benefits to that. How great the benefits are, I can't speak to that, but I do think that it's interesting. I wrote about it at LouisianaSports.net and talked about it today. Talked about Will Wade's first 2 assistant hires, Rick Stansberry and Johnny Jones, and what I think those 2 guys bring. Certainly a wealth of experience, but also different skill sets. Rick Stansberry has been very, very involved in recruiting at high level for the last few years at A&M and at Memphis. And Johnny Jones knows a lot of people in Louisiana. And so I wanted to kind of talk about what those 2 guys may be. Of course, the transfer portal is open for college basketball right now. That just means you can jump in. Not to say that there's going to be a flurry of pledges today, but you can get in as of today. And LSU's got to do a lot of work there. So a little bit of basketball talk. We chatted with Glenn West as well at 1:30. My thoughts on the national championship game at the end of hour number 1. I thought Dan Hurley did a brilliant job yesterday, and that, in turn, demonstrated why Michigan was a worthy champion, because even though UConn kind of threw its best punch at Michigan, it wasn't enough to even really be in the game late, which I thought was great for Michigan. So my thoughts there. LSU Bethune-Cookman preview. You may kind of roll your eyes at that. This is a Bethune-Cookman team that has stared down Miami, stared down South Florida, has been in regional play, has won a lot of games this year, steals a ton of bases, and LSU's been bad in midweek games, especially to start. So I talked about a little bit of that. Sharief Ishaq talked about the Saints. You can catch that at Hunt on Saints. All our LSU content, Hunt on LSU on YouTube, wherever you find your podcast. Tomorrow's show should be a fun one. We'll recap LSU, Bethune-Cookman. We will certainly talk about any basketball transfer portal news that comes up. We'll hear from Lane Kiffin. And our SEC baseball power rankings coming your way tomorrow after another interesting weekend in the Southeastern Conference. I'll be on the call for baseball tonight. Hope to see you at the box. If not, here, same time, same place for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is that website. Spring is here. It's time to play some golf. But, hey, those courses can be crowded. Those driving ranges can be crowded. Why not check out Swing Easy Golf Club if you're looking to get some swings in? It's an awesome place to go hang out. It's an awesome place to work on your game. It's an awesome place to become a member. You can become a member of Swing Easy Golf Club. When you do that, you get X amount of hours up front free, and you get some other perks as being a member there at Swing Easy. You can also get a corporate membership to host clients or to have team building exercises there. It's a great place to go do all of that from a golf perspective indoors. You want to play that golf course they're playing the big tournament at this week? They got it on the simulator. Pebble Beach, Cypress Point, all of that as well. I love Swing Easy Golf Club. Always have a great time when I go. If you have not been, just go check them out. They're on Segan at Perkins. Again, on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club. You can find them online at swingeasygcbr.com.